my strong belief that that we are going to go in the right direction. It's hard for me to say we're going in the right direction right now because we've been going backwards, and nobody feels that any more than I do. Okay, I hate having to go through this process. I hate having to answer these questions, but at the end of the day, you got to take a calm, rational look at things, and we did that. And this is the decision that we came up with.
What did they share with you Friday that gives you the confidence?
I'm not going to go into all the details.
But fans are going to want to hear something.
I understand that. Obviously, the quarterback is the big issue, and maybe he makes some other changes in the way he operates going forward. I've talked to him about, do you really believe that it's in our best interest for you to continue calling the plays? I said, I'm not going to demand that you do one thing or the other, but are you better off letting somebody else call the plays? And that's a discussion that we're going to continue to have. There are issues like that we have to have some further discussion about. But at the end of the day, he's got to make the decision on whether he does that, on whether he wants to make replacements in the staff. That's got to be his decision at the end of the day.
John, do these guys come back on a hot seat? Do these guys come back on a hot seat now?
You guys are going to have him number one on the hot seat going forward. So no matter how I answer that question,
in your mind,
we're going to have to see. I'm going to have to be in a better mood this time next year than I am right now.
John, was the money remaining?
Sorry.
Beyond quarterback and like on what are some of those other issues that you see?
I mean, quite frankly, I didn't think our defense played very well this year at all. I know that when you have an offense that performs like that, you're putting more pressure on your defense, but we need to make improvements there. I'm tired of watching teams go up and down the field on us, so I think that has to be addressed. I think, we need some more depth in the offensive line. But number one thing certainly is the quarterback.
John, what gives you confidence this roster is better than it was 3 years ago when these two took over this team?
I'm not sure I am all that confident that it's that much better. I think, though, with the draft class that we just had, again, it's very unusual. You have 6 draftees, all of whom you think are going to help us going forward. I thought that was a huge step. And the free agents that we picked up between Runyon and bringing Brian Burns in here, I think those are going to help us going forward. I think once you solve the quarterback issue, I think a lot of these other things will improve.
I guess when a fan hears that, though, that you're not confident the roster is better 3 years after they've been in charge, I mean,
How can I say that it's better if we win 3 games? We need to win more games for us to be able to prove that point. But there's just a better feeling in the building now that we've got the right pieces in place. We have a lot of holes to fill, and that's what this offseason is going to be about.
How long will it take to improve the product, John?
Better not take too long, Bruce, because I've just about run out of patience.
John,
two more questions.
John, is the money remaining on their contracts a factor? There was a report that you had a problem with the way that these coach.
Absolutely not. That's never been a factor in any coaching decision that we've ever made here.
John, you talk about how important the quarterback position is. You had the number 1 pick 2 weeks ago, and then you win the Colts game. And then it seemed like you didn't go all out yesterday. Like, why not have just tanked if you knew they were coming back?
If I had thought that we were tanking either one of those games, I would have fired everybody. We are never going to do that in this organization as long as I'm standing on this side of the grass.
John, the planes. John, did you have? We didn't get to talk to you after the planes. How much did that bother you? And
listen, I didn't need planes flying over me to tell me how upset the fans are. I hear from them every day, so that really did not have much of an effect. I get how upset they are. I try to respond to them. Nobody was more upset than I am about how we performed in recent years, and I have to stand up here and take the heat for that.
The big failure of this regime was the Daniel Jones contract. I think the question is, how much of a hand did ownership have in that deal? Are you absolving them of that mistake?
No. Listen, we made a decision at the end of the 22 season based on how Daniel had played that we were going to sign him to that contract. I approved that, and we live with the results.
John, when you say you believe in Joe and Dave after speaking with them on Friday, after watching them, but you also do not want a starting over process. You've been through this process enough. Is it more belief in them than the pain of having to start over, or is it not wanting to start over?
I think it's a combination of things. It's a belief in them, number one. But number two, I think when you start over, you really set yourselves back. And when you have a belief in the two individuals, that are leading the organization, you have to have the patience to stay with it. And again, if I'm standing here a year from now and we're having the same conversation, I'll take the heat for it. But I still think, we still believe that it's the right decision going forward.
Got it. All right.
All right.